which is pretty much close to the current plan that we have, or Farragut could be moved up and have the district that has Hardin Valley, Solway, Amherst, and maybe part of Carnes in there as well. So with that, we do have, I think, a meeting in 2 weeks to discuss again. We'll start meeting either every 2 weeks to every month on this, just to keep things moving along so we can get it done by the end of this year. And the county commission ultimately will have the vote on this. The school board will not, but the county commission will set the boundaries for the county. And that's all I have tonight, Mayor.
Gary is not here. Engineers report.
Just got a couple of things to add tonight. I'm happy to report that TDOT has awarded the contract for the Kingston Pike Road. You'll recall that I mentioned in a board meeting back in May that TDOT had bid that contract and had a low bidder, but they wound up rejecting all bids. It didn't really have anything to do with the bids themselves, but the fact that they had some issues with some of the quantities and items that they had included in the contract. They have went back and corrected those problems, rebid the project this month, and they have awarded the contract to McKinnon Construction Company, LLC, with a low bid of $2,110,790.75. So that project will get kicked off pretty soon. I've spoken with Mark McKinnon. He's excited about having this project to do for the town. He's done a couple of projects for us in the past. We've been very pleased with their work, and they're an excellent contractor. So we're looking forward to seeing some good progress out there. The other item I've got, it's my understanding that Knox County has awarded a contract to APAC Atlantic for the Outlets Drive extension. I don't recall the price they had on that, but I think it was a little below the estimated cost, so that should be moving forward pretty soon as well.
We completed the right-of-way.
We have completed the right-of-way. There were 4 tracts that we have obtained right of entry. We're still negotiating with those property owners, but we do have right of entry, and they can move forward on the project.
All right. Thanks.
That's all I've got.
Recorder's report.
I have 2 invoices for you tonight. The first one's Regions Bank in the amount of $43,000. The second is Mrs. Gail Howell for check 18 for the Watt Road extension for $16,000. It's for Regions Bank. It's actually a refund to Regions Bank for a letter of credit that was cashed for the Chapel Grove subdivision. They have completed that work, so we're returning their letter of credit.
Payment of the bills.
Allison, question on the letter of credit, if I may. And this is the greenhorn part of me asking this. I guess I'm a little confused. I understand what you have here. What throws me just a little bit is if the first developer didn't complete it and we drew the letter of credit for him, and I don't know if this went into bankruptcy, I'm not sure what all the legal process this went through, but if it did not go through bankruptcy where the responsibility was naturally assumed by the new developer, it would seem to me there would be potentially an opportunity for us, rather than return it to the bank, to return it to the new developer who actually completed the work. I just want to make sure we handle that properly. Did my question make sense?
It makes sense, but I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
I can ask Mark.
I just hate to have somebody come back to us later saying, hold it, I didn't have an obligation to complete that. I did. I've just seen it. I deal with letter of credits all the time in my business. Now, this is a whole different, and the situation's different. But I've seen enough similarities in this where I'd hate to have the second developer come back and say, hold it, that money should have come to me.
I did the work.
Yes.
We can hold off on this one if you'd like, and I can talk to Mark. Or if David has any other information.
Well, we are refunding. It looks like we are refunding the letter of credit because the new developer is coming in and going to do the work. So in essence, we cashed it to do the work. The new developer's coming in and saying that they're going to take care of it. They're on the hook They're responsible for it, and so we were just giving back the letter of credit.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure
Regions
that
Bank.
the money was going to the right party. I mean,
That's
I
the-
understand why we're, does my question make sense?
It does, and I believe that we did pull a letter, we did cash the letter of credit based on the original developer, and so that original developer's letter of credit is now going back to the bank.
Right. But it did let me ask my question differently, David.
I think I know what you're asking, and I think probably the 43,000 was if we had to do the work at the end of the day. So no matter who, so if someone new bought it, it's their responsibility to abide by the
Okay. I
ordinances
just wanted
that
to
we
make
have
sure
in
there wasn't
place.
some agreement between the two that one said, hold it, the money would come back to you. I don't know I don't know how this property transferred from the first party to the second party. Is my question, Tom, do you understand what my
Yeah, I
question?
think I do. Do we have a letter of credit from the new developer? Do you know?
I got this from Mark, so I'm not for sure.
Okay. I would suspect that we have a letter of credit from the new developer to secure the performance.
If we do, then I guess
Then
I
I
would see
think-
where it go back. When you have a transfer like this, sometimes there's an assumption by the second party that, hold it, I thought I would get this to complete it because that wasn't my obligation to begin with, so.
Actually, Alderman Honkin, I think what it says here, and I should have looked at this a little closer before we got to the meeting tonight, but the new developer has already taken care of the obligations of the letter of credit. So since they have taken care of the landscaping, I think that we're dealing with. Since they have taken care of that, then we don't have to hold that letter of credit anymore, and we can return that back to the bank, and that's our obligation to return that money back to the bank. So that's what's happening in this instant case, is that they have finished the work, the new developer has, and we're returning the old letter of credit back.
Okay. And they understand that they assumed that responsibility, the new developer.
Correct. I'm
Okay.
sure I'm sure they do, and they will have a maintenance letter of credit, I'm sure, of some amount that they are going to hold now for a year or
Okay.
two to make sure those plants stay in place.
Okay. All right.
If I may help, typically these letters of credit, this is an agreement between us and, in this case, Regions Bank,
Absolutely.
on behalf of the original developer. If another developer steps in, they would be responsible for working out a completely separate deal, separate from this agreement.
Well, but normally when you draw, I understand where you're
Right, I
coming
mean,
from, but normally when you draw the LOC, you control the cash now. The bank is no
Right.
longer a party to the agreement.
Right.
They fulfilled their obligation. I just have seen it before where the second party, again, not in this type of land transfer, but in a business transfer, where party number two said, okay, the rights to that money now deferred to me.
I would
It
think
came
that,
with the deal.
I would
And
think
I don't
that
know,
that would be
I just want to
between,
make sure we do it properly is my only question. I
Right.
just don't want to have developer two come back and say, hold it, I thought when I completed that work, I did that because somebody at the bank said, well, hold it, there's $43,000 that you should get back from the town of Farragut then if you're going to spend that money. I'm not trying to stir something up that doesn't need to be stirred up. I just want to make sure we return it properly because I've seen it happen before where people make an assumption, especially once you draw a letter of credit and you're trying to give money back. And once you give it back to the bank, you're not going to get it back again. So. No, yeah.
if
I
another
understand.
developer had, could lay claim to that amount, and I fully understand what you're saying, that would be between them and Regions Bank.
Well, actually, not anymore because Regions Bank doesn't have the money. When we cashed it, the obligation is no longer with Regions Bank. I mean, their obligation ended that day. So they had some type of collateral with developer number one. That's
a real good question, and these can get to be pretty sticky circumstances. So
I'm assuming we've done this before.